I can't believe I have to say this, but any job that says there's not a formal break for lunch, you can eat whenever is a scam. 9 months ago, I was hired at this desk job taking phone calls all day. They never closed down during the pandemic because of Governor DeSantis, so I have not had a quarantine. I remember asking my boss during the interview, "So how long is lunch?" To which he responded, "Well, there is not formal time for lunch. You can eat whenever, you can use your phone whenever." And that, to me, sounded awesome. Except it is not. It is a total 100 scam when they expect you to still work no matter what. Not having allotted time for lunch means that if I am headed towards the break room and I am heating up my food and a phone call comes in, I have to stop what I'm doing to exit the break room and answer a 10-minute call. It means that while I'm eating, if I get someone at the door, I need to swallow as fast as possible, nearly choking, to answer the door and attend a customer for 15 minutes. Then another customer calls, and soon enough I have only been able to take bites of my food over a span of an hour. Just recently, like a month or two ago, my bosses started blocking off their own times for lunch, giving each other 2 full hours where they are not in the office 11 wep, and had no regard for staff like myself. As much as I want to bring this up, many times I'm the only person in the office dealing with phones. Everyone else has a different job, so by me asking them to block off time for my lunch, they would literally have to find a replacement or close off calls during that time. I feel like this is a basic necessity any employee deserves, and I should have seen this coming. If it is too good to be true, it is because it is. It is extra gross that they get 2 hours and you get none. That's it, and they eat to do no. Too easy. That was it. Right. 2 hours. Most of them say they go home and watched while their spouse cooks. Must be nice. Op should be, I sell you 1K ago, yeah. There is no way it takes 2 hours to eat lunch. 418 reply share report save. This is exactly how it is when you work as a server or bartender. I have worked in many restaurants over the years, and there have only been a couple that gave us an off-the-clock lunch break. You go take bites of food when you have the chance, basically. If you get busy, then oh well. The worst was when this place I'd be scheduled and open to close. This was a very busy place. 14 hours and surviving on a few bites of food, maybe because they would refuse to give us a break even for long enough to eat, or at least let someone watch our section. I am happy to say I am out of the restaurant industry now, and I get a break every 2 hours at my new job. I don't even see how this can be legal for places to do this. Exactly. I do not understand how it is legal to not give employees at the very least 30 minutes of an off-the-clock break time to sit to eat, to regroup your thoughts and breathe. I'll admit, my job is not the busiest compared to serving jobs or something like a hospital. But my last job, which was exactly the same, even less stressful than the one I have now, would give us an hour. I would end up driving out, going home. Once I even napped in my car from how exhausted I was after a 40-hour work week on a Sunday. This really should be the bare minimum. I remember working doubles at national restaurant bar chain from 9:30 am to 2 am the next day, and my only breaks were when I snuck into the bathroom. Meal breaks were me managing to get 2 bites of a granola bar from my bag, or the staff splitting dead food. I was a college student working to get money to pay off school expenses and also save invest. So, I dealt with it for 3 years. Can't imagine doing that for life. In California, that is illegal. If you work 6 hours, they are required to get you a full 30-minute break. 12 hours means 2 30-minute breaks, though due to overtime laws, 12-hour shifts would probably not happen. Yeah, this was my experience in almost every restaurant I worked in. and I can only think of two that gave us off-the-clock lunches. This was also my experience in almost every hospital job I had. It was clearly stated during orientation and in the employee handbook that we were expected to take a mandatory lunch where we clocked out for half an hour, but if the patient flow was too demanding, which was almost every day, most of us didn't get to, from techs to nurses. This is the hospitality industry in a nutshell. I could tell based on the ops title either they are new to hospitality industry and are shocked at the way the industry runs or don't know the industry. This is industry and job type specific. For customer-facing jobs, you certainly have a point. I was always thankful that when I worked at a grocery store for 7 years, lunches and breaks were always a priority. When I eventually became shift supervisor, that culture was instilled in me, and I made sure my people got breaks and lunches. If the company doesn't designate a specific time for them and have you clock out if you're hourly, then yeah, I can see your point. That can also be a violation of state law, depending on the state. For a salaried office or corporate job, this is just how it goes. This is just how a salaried corporate it is up to you to set boundaries. For salaried office or corporate job, basically my whole industry, you either figure out to do like ops supervisors to block your lunch or suffer. We also have very high burnout, so there's that. I remember being cross-matrix to 6 teams simultaneously, and each would schedule a meeting for an hour around the lunch shift. When I complained, they said they reasonably only scheduled 1 hour, take my lunch during another. No one was responsible for the big picture of blocking my day from 9 to 3 with zero time to eat. So I started eating during meetings. And not subtly. I'd get in early, sit in the middle, and stare at whomever was speaking while I ate. Of course, I chewed with my mouth closed. I'm not a savage. Can you just tell your boss I'm having lunch at 1 when you return? I'll forward all calls to my voicemail and I'll call them back. It isn't always a scam. I work in a field where I always have to be available to respond to things when I am on the clock, so I don't get a lunch in 5 cents that I clock out and go eat. But I do get to eat whenever I want to, with the caveat that I put it on hold if something comes up. I kinda like it that way because I don't have to waste an extra hour or my day without being paid for it. I completely agree. I work a desk job and eat whenever I get a chance. There's usually a natural break in the day when I can take a break. I just have to be available to answer the phone, and I don't mind getting paid extra hours for being flexible. Now, I'm not trying to play devil's advocate, but my current job, which is working in an adult novelty store, doesn't have explicit breaks or lunch times. I do tend to suffer from the same problem of, oh damn, lunch is heated up, but have a customer, and maybe it's just me, but I wouldn't say my job is a scam because of it. I get enough downtime where I can eventually enjoy my lunch. Obviously not the same situation as yours, but I do hope you can figure something out, cause it is unfair to have the phones pinned to one person all day long like that. Waitress in one day ag. Most of these types of places aren't slammed busy all the time from my experience. I have been in many where there was only one employee working the whole store, and I can see how most would allow for time to eat at least. And before anyone starts wondering why I may have been into so many adult novelty stores, lol, an ex of mine used to deliver a magazine that advertised adult businesses, and I would go with him to all these places to help deliver them. Most of the places were adult novelty stores and strip clubs. 10. Reply, share, report, save, continue this thread. That's definitely that they give each other 2 hours blocks, but you don't deserve a formal lunch. How many hours is your shift? I had a friend who had a job in a call center. It was a very big, national, well-respected company. She still didn't have any formal time to eat, and apparently there was no way to aux out of the phone system. I had a call center job once, and if you pressed aux, it mentioned can't receive calls until you aux back in. This was usually used for things like making extensive notes on a client's account after the call was over, researching an account, or using the restroom, and also for lunch breaks. I asked her how she could use the bathroom, and she was just like, your bosses definitely need to figure out something so that you can have a formal lunch break, or in case there is some kind of emergency where you can't be there, someone else can surely be cross-trained to take on your position for half an hour per day. I'm going to say the context of your postings. Headline is, you got burned. Sorry to hear this. Outside the context you cited, Some of the best jobs allow for taking lunch anytime you want. Both opinions are sweeping generalizations. Op reminds me of the far left and far right nuts posting stuff on Facebook. Do they pay you for the full day, or are you salaried? Your experience is not the norm. I've literally never had a set time for lunch at any job. It has never been a problem. I leave whenever I can, come back an hour later. Nobody has ever said anything to me about it in over a decade. Start applying elsewhere. I know with COVID it is harder, but with time you might find one that is a lot better. No, it is not many jobs. Most office jobs frequently have meetings at the normal lunch times. You literally have to eat when there is time to do so. Wise of you 167 25 hours ago to shitty jobs doesn't make it right. 40 reply share report save. You know that's not true. I literally can clock out for my 30-minute break whenever I want, as long as I take a 30-minute break throughout my 8-hour day. They don't care. I liked how you asked about lunch in the interview process. I'm going to start doing that, lol. Anyways, sometimes I don't take lunch because it's just so busy. Next time just tell him you were going out for lunch and let the phone ring. I wasn't given a set lunch break at one of my previous jobs either. It was eat when you can. Oh, and we're gonna add on a bunch of extra patience at all times so you never find 5 minutes to scarf down your food you had to order. Also, we were going to give you the bare minimum time to get your patience done so you never actually can get caught up and stay on time. Oh yeah, and you have to work every other Saturday whether you like it or not, even though that wasn't part of the job. Made good money but wasn't worth it whatsoever. It is not really a scam because legally you don't have to clock out, so enjoy your shorter days. The second they make you clock out or adjust your timesheet to remove the lunch you didn't take, that's against the law here anyways. If somebody makes me do work-related stuff on my lunch to clock back in, and when I'm done I'll clock out and resume my lunch. Anyone who does any work when they are clocked out should educate themselves with labor laws. This is considered an on-duty lunch, since you are legally entitled to a 30-minute unpaid lunch break. If you and your employer enter an agreement, they can decide to pay you double, and you work through your break. Otherwise, they need to allow you a 30-minute off-duty break to eat, even if you were salaried. I hate salary. I'm a type of person that likes continuous work. Give me back-to-back work and don't make me sit around and do nothing. It makes me lazy. I am a trash man who rides on the back of a truck to collect recycling in my state. We don't stop for breaks during the day, and if my driver has to use the bathroom, he has to find somewhere on the route to pee that's secluded. I don't eat or drink while working, that way I don't have to pee. I can't believe I have to say this, but your post is a bunch of malarkey. This may be your experience, but mine has been rather different. My current and last several jobs have had very flexible lunch hours, but the right to schedule and take a work-free lunch was always respected. You should avoid speaking in absolutes when your evidence is purely anecdotal. Plus, people may think you edited for a typo.
Like and subscribe for more Reddit content. Watch the next video at the top of your screen.